much y'all's update really on how I've been feeling lately with the new medications, my seizures, my tics, all the above, just how I've been feeling in general. Um, the newer medications are still a bit harsh on me, I believe. And I'm usually like not comfortable with showing stuff like this on camera, but y'all can see where I'm sweating right there. And it's actually very cold in here right now. But it still makes me sweat a lot. Um, I'm trying to cover up my name and my address on here so that y'all can't see all that. But this one is when I kind of like mark it with a yellow marker. That way I know this one kind of has like the medium side effects for me. It doesn't have like really a lot of harsh ones for me, but I've noticed that the Buspirone 10 milligrams have kind of been helping, but at the same time, it gives me like emotionally, it gives me a roller coaster. Um, Sorry, the next one I'm trying to cover up my name and address and stuff on here too, so I can't see that. But on that one, I marked it with a big red on there. That way I know that this one is bad for me. And this is the Effexor. This is the one that I've had the most trouble with. Um and that one's the one that mostly like makes me sweat a lot like that. And that is because it makes my blood pressure really high. And both of these mess with my blood pressure as well as I already kind of have high blood pressure a little bit. So it's been like kind of really up there since taking these in like the 150s and 160s, which is for me, as small as I am, that's not the best thing in the world. Um, yes, I will be switched off of these before anybody says, "Well, why don't you just let them know so they can switch it?" I am. I cannot get in to see them again until the 28th of this month. So that's still like another week and a half at least. But patience is everything. Um, if it's like that big of a deal, I would either stop them, or if they're put me in that big of a deal, I will be seen. So nobody worry about all of that stuff, because I know some people get concerned when I say that, especially like my mother. When she gets on here, she'll be like, "Oh, just stop taking them." You guys, I can't just stop taking some of these medications. Um, I think it's the Effexor for sure, because it can make me have withdrawals if I just stop taking them like that. And I think the Buspar may be the same, but it's not like quite as bad as the Effexor is. And my Depakote, I absolutely cannot stop because that's my only seizure medication that I'm on. So if I stop taking those automatically, then it would be more than likely I would go back to having my seizures again. Because not that I don't have them anymore, it's that they are under control right now. Because I do have both epileptic and non epileptic. The non epileptic usually occur when I'm stressed or I'm really tired or too anything, too excited even. I could even be riding on a roller coaster and be super happy about it, and I would have a seizure. That is my PNS. Um, Epileptic side, that just means that there are things changing in my brain. So I cannot just stop taking these meds. And for other people, I suggest that you do not just stop taking your medications either. I was really bad about this, and I kind of still am on some of them, but I'm getting a lot better. But I really, really highly suggest you do not stop taking them without talking to your doctor, because some of these, like I said, can make you have withdrawals on some of them. Some of them can make you go into status epilepticus, I believe is what it's called, for my people on here with seizures. And for those that don't know what that means, status basically means that you have seizures that don't stop, which I have been in that state at least 4 or 5 times now. And for those of us with seizure disorders, we know that it can be very serious. Status can kill somebody. I actually believe that was part of what happened last year when I went into the emergency room, because I think some people don't really understand when you've been in a seizure for a long period of time, it can actually mess with your brain for sure, and it can make some people not move again. It can make some not talk again. It can make some people a little bit slower. I'm sorry if people don't like that term I use. I'm trying to use it in a good manner without being rude or anything like that. No, I don't have nothing against that. So everybody knows. But it can make one disabled. I'm just gonna put it that way. I'm disabled, but it can make it crippling disabling. Um, these meds don't make me feel the best. They do not make me feel like the Aptium did that I was on last year that sent me to hospital. But there has been a few times where it's been pretty close because my blood pressure goes sky high. And then when my blood pressure gets up, it messes with my seizures. And then mostly when it messes with my seizures, then it messes with my other seizures. One seizure sets off the other. So I can have an actual epileptic episode, and instead of just coming straight out of the epileptic episode, it will change over to the PNES episode. And my brain will kind of get stuck there. And no, it's not just when I'm awake and I'm walking around and stuff like that either. So it's not faking anything for those of you who think so. But I even have them in my sleep, like right there in mid cycle of sleep, not just as soon as I close my eyes and like that kind of a sleep. I mean, like actually asleep. And I will still have episodes that will not be epileptic episodes, they'll still be PNES. So, for those of you out there that have the same thing, please don't feel discouraged like I myself do. There are others of us that are out here, and that's why I even made this channel so that we can all have that support system, which I feel that we have a lack of right now. I don't think a lot of doctors or nurses even have the knowledge right now about conversion disorder, PNES, whichever you want to call it. A lot of people call it different things in different areas. We still call it PNES here in North Georgia. I think they're moving over to conversion disorder now because PNES leads to a false definition. Not exactly a false definition, but it makes one to believe a false definition. You get what I'm saying? Because the medical definition of non-epileptic seizures, pseudo seizures, is false, which means not real. However, that doesn't mean that they're not real. It just means that they're non-epileptic. It means that they're false epileptic seizures because they look exactly the same. If one, if there be two doctors in the same room, one that knows something about it, one that knows absolutely nothing about it, but knows something about seizures, they'll probably, the one that doesn't know will probably want to, they would want to treat me. They would be like, oh, well, I don't know. Let's put a whole bunch of stuff in her that we don't know about. This doctor over here that knows about it, though, you get what I'm saying? They're the ones that don't understand are the ones that accuse those of faking or don't believe it's a real condition. However, it's a very real condition. The only thing that it means, you guys, is basically a personality disorder. Um, your brain converts mental stress into a physical stress. So instead of me thinking about something like, let's say somebody hit me in the face, instead of getting upset or getting really angry, I would probably fall on the floor and have a seizure. That would be my brain's flight or fight response. So basically, it's telling me, you're upset, but instead of taking it out as being upset, it takes it out as having a seizure in the floor. Or now, for me, in that case, it would be my tick. It's kind of basically the same thing for me, except for when I'm extremely stressed out or even extremely excited. It's the same difference. And even right now, like when I'm talking down about like my medications and stuff, right now is what I'm talking about. Right now, I'm kind of feeling like I'm on that high level. Like I'm happy, I'm excited, I'm talking to you guys. I'm kind of talking a little bit fast, so I'm sorry, but that's kind of how I feel right now. But I guarantee you, in probably like 30 minutes to another hour, I'm probably going to start, dropping back down here. And that's really my main issue with these medications, besides it, making my blood pressure up that high. Um, as far as like breathing troubles and stuff like that, I haven't had any issues. Um, at least not while I've been awake or anything that I know of. I think I've been just fine on that level. I mean, there's been a couple of times I felt like I was going to pass out or something like that. I can't really say it's my medications. I can't say whether it's just a seizure episode or it's just one of those times you feel like you're going to pass out. Because I think everybody has some time in their life where they're like, oh, I feel like I'm going to pass out. But you know what I'm saying? But last night I got to that feeling. I actually think I had like a small episode when I went to bed last night. Um, Nothing major, nothing like that. Only lasted like maybe even under a minute, but nothing severe. I was still aware ish. Um, I couldn't really open my eyes, but I was around. If you know what that means, I think it's. I think you know. Um, let's see. Other than that, last time I think I remember I've had one was Might have been, might have been actually a couple of hours before that, laying on the couch, or I don't know, you guys. They've been getting, they've been coming back a lot more here lately, so not sure.
But we have been smoking spliffs and without medication.
Yeah, that is true. We have been smoking spliffs without medication, and which those that don't know, THC and even CBD is what has been keeping me like I am right now, sitting here talking to you guys without being a robot for almost 5, 6 years now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Since you got home.
Yeah. I can tell you guys, since I've started smoking, I've come a long way. And those that know me, they can tell you I went from having over 50 seizures a day to now maybe one every other day to maybe one a week or something like that. Maybe. It really depends. Um, it honestly depends if I'm taking my medication correctly, or if I'm sick and feeling if I'm feeling all right, or if I'm stressed out, because not only does being stressed out lead to the PNES, but it could also be a part of the epileptic. So, like I said, one can set off the other. That's not always the case, but it can happen. It has happened. That doesn't mean it would be the same for everybody. All of our bodies are different. They all they all act different. Um, what medication isn't working for me right now, like the Effexor and the Buspar, it may not be working for me, but that necessarily might not be the case for you. You may can ask your doctor about it, and it's an anxiety medication, you guys. By the way, it's not a seizure medication. Um, but if y'all were to decide to ask that, it may work for you, but it's not the one for me. Um, the Depakote, the one that is for my seizures, that's the one that works best for me. However, for some of you, it may be different. It may not help you at all. It may help a little bit. You may need another medication to go along with it. Like for me, Keppra did a really bad job for me. However, a lot of people tell you that it's a really great medication. It really is. It wasn't for me. It caused bad reactions to me. So, once again, that being said, what doesn't work for me may not be the case for you or whoever else. Um, so you're trying to, as y'all can tell, my tics haven't been as severe. They have kind of been coming back a little bit, but they're not as severe still, where I'm throwing things across the room and I'm blurting things out of my mouth that I shouldn't be. But I do still notice I get like the head nod thing going on, or I'll tap on my hand with my finger, or just tap my leg or whatever, just simple things like that. Um, my doctor at the counselor said that she isn't going to do anything about that. She said, really, she doesn't think she can. She thinks that's my neurologist's job to deal with that, which is, I thought so too. But he wanted to make sure it's not a mental thing that I'm dealing with. Like, it's not a nervous tick. It's actually like a tick from something going on inside, not just from me being stressed, which is kind of what I feel like it is at times, because that's when I have them the most. However, there are times when I'm not stressed and stuff like that, and I'll have them. So it could just be I have some spasms, and once I start getting stressed and stuff like that, then it just starts getting worse. I don't know. I don't go back to see my neurologist until the 20th of January, which is still a good bit away. It's like still, I think, almost like a month away. It, yeah, it's the 19th now, so about a month away still. Um, but he's actually about to be giving me up again too. He even asked me what he's supposed to do with me next because apparently my first neurologist didn't do his job and explained to him that he's my new neurologist. He just explained he needed a second opinion and got rid of me, and so now I'm about to deal without a neurologist again. Um, which for those of us that deal with neurological disorders, that's probably about to get very rough for me because that means that I won't be able to get some of my certain medications, like my Depakote. I can ask the pharmacy and stuff like that. I can kind of ask my doctor um, at the counselor's office, but she's just going to tell me the same thing. She'll be like, "Well, you're going to have to see, because what if I have to change to something else? What if that medication stops working for me?" And then I start going back into the same thing, you know what I'm saying? I haven't been I haven't been 6 months seizure free. I've only gotten to like maybe 3 months at the most, and now I'm back at it again. So I think it's a really bad idea for him to do that. Um, she wants him to send me to a movement specialist. He kind of wanted to do that for me the last time, but he wanted to see if it was going to last until I went back to see him, which it is kind of. It hasn't been as severe, but it's still going on. So he may send me there. He may not. Um, I'll probably be looking for a new neurologist come February. That's another thing that a lot of us that have seizures has to deal with is going through so many doctors. And now, once again, I'm going back to my medications. How I said it was on a higher level like a few minutes ago, and I was talking kind of fast and stuff like that. Well, now I'm kind of feeling like I'm dropping back down a little bit. Now I feel like I was up here, and now I'm kind of a little bit down here now. And also, I'm pretty sweaty. I'm not nervous. I'm not upset. I'm not angry. I'm not any of that. So I'm not hot. It's actually cold in here. Um, I was going to go and turn the stove on too because I'm chilly. And we even have both heaters on, but my body can't handle it because when I go to turn the stove on, then I feel like I'm going to pass out. I'm like, oh, my body says I'm too hot, but I don't feel like I'm hot. And before anybody asks, no, I don't have a fever. No, I'm not sick. My body just does that. It does it with the PNES episodes as well as the non. Um, also does it when I'm just stressed. Also does it when I'm not stressed. It is just a thing that happens for me, sadly. Thankfully, I don't like stink or anything like that. I don't have an odor to it. I know some people are probably going to think it's funny because
Well, you do when
some
you
people
have
are
real.
immature, but like when I'm having an epileptic seizure, I can kind of like not exactly stink, but it will. I will have.
I can smell.
There's an odor, but I don't know how to explain it. It doesn't like smell nasty. It's just it's a
Gross.
different. is different. It's a different kind of odor. Um, but you can kind of tell once I start having those seizures. At least those that have been around me for quite a minute, you can kind of tell. Because it's different from when I'm going to work out or something like that, and I've been sweating or working outside and sweating all day. But it's not like a body odor like that. It's a sickness odor, I guess you can say. I don't. That's the best way I can explain it, guys. But you know, like how when a cat gets sick, and you can kind of smell on them, like, oh, you kind of got that smell on you, like you kind of smell like death, or I don't know, you smell like something. I mean, you don't exactly stink, but you smell like you're sick. It's kind of the same. Um, and my old man used to explain it like a cheeseburger smell, kind of, because it kind of has that kind of smell to it. I don't know why, but it does. Um, I even sweat everywhere else, wherever I have creases. Um, and for my ladies, for my bigger set ladies, y'all should understand. For my smaller ladies, that so much for us, we don't really sweat that much underneath right here. You get what I'm saying? Like, because we don't have much of a crease under our breasts for those of us that have smaller breasts. So there's not really enough room for sweat to be getting trapped up in there. You don't have you don't have skin on skin contact. It's not keeping this warm right there. So I shouldn't be sweating, like pouring down sweat right there. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure it can be normal for me to sweat because I have a crease. I have breasts. It's normal for us to sweat. However, it gets excessive to where it literally drips down my belly, which is which is a lot for some people to deal with. It makes me actually very uncomfortable sometimes. Sometimes I have to go and change my shirt 3 or 4 times before going somewhere. And it can even be a short sleeve shirt. It can even be a tank top. And it'll still drip down to where I have the little sweat drop stuff on the side. So it makes me uncomfortable. I'm like, oh, I gotta go change. Yeah, it's pretty different smell. I mean, I don't exactly know how to explain it the best, but for for me at least, that's how it's been. It could also be from things I may be eating, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. But I don't really eat stuff like that a lot anymore anyway, so I don't think that's it. It could just be my medications. I'm not sure.
Body duress.
Because, like I said, when I take both of my Buspar and my Effexor, they both mess with my blood pressure. As well as I already deal with a little bit of high blood pressure now. So it makes my blood pressure like kind of sky high for me. It brings it up into the 150s to 160s. And then I kind of start to overheat from there, and my body's like, oh, you gotta cool down somehow. I can try to lift my feet up and stuff like that too, but then I get restless and I gotta get up and move around, which makes me more hot.
You want some dragon drops?
Not right this second. I have been using, let's see if I can hold on, guys. I'm not going anywhere. But it's got a different name on it now from when I received it from her. But Mary Jane Snack Shack has, you said it was
Dragon drops.
Dragon Drops.
That's the new brand.
So that's a new brand, but the one that
Same quality
the brand
product.
I'm currently using is Mary Jane's 420 tincture, and it is a alcohol base. It is kind of strong, but however, for someone like me who deals with seizures and tics and stuff like that, it's actually very helpful. It does burn quite a bit, but if you leave it up under your tongue, I take at least maybe 2 small drops. It really doesn't take a lot for me, but just 2 small drops under the tongue, and I'll hold it there until it no longer burns, and then I'll swallow it, and not even 5 minutes later, things will start to kind of settle down. I mean, it won't officially stop, but it will basically it will get to close to stopping. Like I'll still maybe have like a hand trimmer, or I'll still maybe have the little head tick where I'm nodding or something like that. But it went from me throwing things across the room and blurting out "shut your face" like I have been doing the past couple of months, to a few minutes later to just like the little head bob thing, or just a blinking thing. Once again, I don't know if it will help everybody. However, I don't see why not. But some people some people get nauseous from these kind of things and stuff like that, which is perfectly fine, you guys. I'm not saying to go and smoke. I'm not saying to even do tincture. I'm not even saying to eat an edible. If you're not comfortable with it, you're not comfortable with it. I'm not here to try to peer pressure anybody into doing anything. I'm just letting you know what works for me and what I have heard has helped quite a bit of people. I have heard some people that say it does absolutely nothing for them. And maybe that's it. Maybe it won't do nothing. But for me, especially, it has been great. I went from over 50 a day to now maybe once every other day to once a week, if that. Sometimes I get lucky and I'm able to do a month or two without one if we have really good product. However, lately we've been having to smoke spliffs because it's Christmas time, and we're it's broke time is what it is. So we're smoking spliffs right now. It still has some medication in it for me, so it helps a little bit, but it still kind of makes me feel because it has tobacco in it. For those that don't know, I have officially stopped smoking tobacco at least. mm, it's been at least a few months ago now. Or maybe it's been a year now.
Not happy.
About half a year. It's about 6 months. I've been doing pretty good this time. Usually I'll go right back to it every time. However, It scared me last time I went back to the doctor and they told me about some spots on my lungs. It scared me. So I guess it clicked in my brain at that time, hey, we need to stop smoking before something serious happens and we don't just have seizures. Not saying that seizures aren't serious, they can be. However, spots on the lungs and stuff like that that's a big deal. I don't know if they're gone away. I don't know if they're still there. I don't know what they are. I don't know if it's like um like my primary doctor thinks it is, which is an asthma flare up. We have no idea. I love you too, and thank you. Because I haven't had like an asthma attack since I was little. Like, yeah, you guys, since I was little, it's been quite a while since I had an asthma flare up like that. So I don't, we don't know. I'm not going to try to think negative here and try to scare myself or everybody else because that's also what I'm good at doing. However, that is the risk of smoking, you guys. Um, I already knew this before I started smoking. People tried to tell me. Um, they tried to tell me as I got older and kept smoking. And I went straight from cigarettes to cigars. And I would smoke at least four or maybe even five of them a day and inhale them. And for those that smoke cigars, y'all know it even says on the package you're not supposed to inhale. It can be very bad. Oh, yeah, me too. I feel so much better when I breathe now too. I don't feel like my chest is so tight anymore. Cause it was getting to the point of like where I was coughing up and stuff like that. Like just about every morning, I couldn't even really breathe when I got up. I could walk down the driveway and walk back up and I'm out of breath, or I could just walk from here to my bathroom, which is only like two doors away from where I'm sitting, and I could still be out of breath. I'm like, goodness, I shouldn't be out of breath. But I also don't work out and exercise and stuff like that. So that's also a possibility of why. I think I was actually supposed to go back to my cardiologist this month, but I didn't really see no need in going back to him. He wanted me to keep up with my blood pressure and stuff to make sure it wasn't staying high. It was pretty high last time I went. It was like, I think in the 130s or 140s. But when he checked my heart, everything looks fine. It was pumping fine. All my veins are looking good. My heart looks normal. All that neat stuff. Everything was going good. But he said if it was still a problem, still feeling the pressure there and stuff like that, we can do a stress test, which is, I guess, basically just seeing how my heart responds to stress. I don't know. But once again, I don't really want to deal with that either. Last time I went back to the doctor, I still had a irregular EKG or yeah, EKG. But I kind of knew it was going to be. I've had this kind of small sinus tachycardia stuff for quite a few years now. And it's mostly when I'm in my seizures where it gets severely high. Then it'll get to nearly the 170s, 180s, that's when they really get concerned. But it's mostly, even when I'm resting, my normal resting rate's about like 74, about 74 to 80 is my normal. But it can jump up to 130 even when I'm just laying there. Hmm. I don't even know what I'm going to do about my neurologist either. I've thought about just saying screw it and going to Emory, but since our truck is damaged right now, that's a long way for me to go. That's a 2-hour drive. Oh, yeah, for sure. Because even with my stuff, I don't know. That's why I don't understand why some of the doctors laugh and mock at me, because I don't find some of it funny, because some of this stuff leads to my heart racing severely high, and even to the point where they found on one of my tests like last year where I had possibly had a mini heart attack. And for someone who's only 26, 25 at the time, that's pretty young to be having heart attacks of any kind. A small heart attack, medium heart attack, or whatever. hmm So that's what we're trying to deal with now is my PTSD so that we can get the other side effects still. Yes, we're still in Chattanooga. Well, close to Chattanooga. We're like about 5 minutes from Chattanooga, if that, in Rossville. Because, I mean, I understand, like, some doctors' point of view with the non-epileptic seizures, like, they can't exactly do anything for them. I understand that, but there are some doctors up here who really make me feel like crap for it and will even, like I mentioned in one of my other videos, they have made me sit in my urine for hours at a time. Um, they have even they've squirted stuff in my face. They have, the ammonia caplets. They're only supposed to break them open and wave them under your nose because they're really strong, you guys. It doesn't take a lot for it to wake you up if you're not conscious. It's not hard. All it's supposed to do is break it open and wave it up under your nose. And if you're not waking up, you're not waking up. You're not responsive. But instead, they take it to the point of now where they break it and they shove it up my nostril, or they will get a oxygen tube and put in my nose, and they will squirt it up in there. And it's even made me feel really, really terrible to where my head was all tingly and stuff like that. They're not supposed to do that, you guys. Ammonia capsules are not meant to be shoved up your nostril and or any other hole of yours for that matter. It is not supposed to be inserted anywhere. But there's been times they've done that. There has been times where they've told me to stop it. There's been times, like, some people even laugh right now. They even laughed and mocked at me as soon as I got out of the hospital last year. And for many of y'all that do know, well, many of y'all that don't know, I was in the hospital around this time last year because I was going into status, meaning my seizures were not stopping, and it was dropping my oxygen level to a significantly low levels to nearly death levels. Um, and they literally had to shut off my brain in order for me to be able to recover. Meaning they had to put me on the ventilator and put me on medications to make me sleep. Because yes, you can be on a ventilator without being asleep. Um, but that that was not it. My brain had already shut itself off when as soon as I had went into the lobby. Really, before that, um, but there's a lot that they do that they shouldn't. There has even been times where they have, well, one time in particular, they have sent me home in an Uber. For people with seizure conditions, even PNES, you're not supposed to do that. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you why now. You're not supposed to do that because people who have seizures, epileptic or non epileptic, can get into a state of mind where they don't know. They don't know what's happening. They don't understand what's happening. I even had a PNES episode where I thought my old man had put me outside, and I was stuck in that loop. Like, why are you putting me outside? And he just kept on. What are you talking about? Like why would I put you outside? Exactly. Like why would he put me outside? That doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why I'd say that either, but it happened. Um, so that being said, you should not send people home in an Uber and stuff like that, especially if they're by themselves with somebody they don't know, because there's more of a chance that they can tell somebody an address or something or tell them a place and that not even be where they live. And then what do you know? I'm stuck at a stranger's house because I told them that's where I live. And now I'm going to jail because I'm at a stranger's house, or now I'm being adopted because I'm at a stranger's house, or God knows what happened. I sure do. And I don't know if I would be able to stay, but my old man could possibly take me over there or stuff like that. We would have to work something out, but we could possibly work something out on that. Because that would be a great deal. They have actually been wanting to deal with me for quite some time. They've been wanting to even deal with my surgeries too. Okay, so if I could get in to see them, maybe they can understand more what's going on because I've heard they have some of the best doctors down there. Okay, I'll do that here. Let's see, what is today? Today's Saturday. So I'll do that Monday because this is something I'm really needing to be done. I mean, of course, I'm not worried about the PNES episodes because I'm dealing with a counselor for that right now. However, I am about to lose my neurologist, and I cannot afford to do that right now, especially on disability. Not that I'm trying to be that person that's like, oh, I want that money. And it's not like that, you guys. But I literally cannot afford to lose my disability because losing disability in return would mean that I would lose my health care. And I cannot afford that because that would mean I would have to, I would not be able to get my medications for sure. My Depakote is well over $1,000 itself. Okay, awesome. I'll save it in my phone once I get off here. And that'll make me feel a lot better going down there with somebody that I know, regardless of, not saying to Rebecca, if you come in or you watch my video, that I don't know you, because I have met you several times, but she is like my second mother. I've known her all my life, basically. So it would make me more comfortable. So that is true. It even took me a long time for to get on disability, a couple of years too. Um, I think it took like 2 or 3 years for me to finally get it, and then I appealed with a lawyer. For those that don't know, yes, you can get disability for seizures. It depends on how severe they are, how often they are. I believe that my attorney said that they at least had to be 2 or more months, which is mine are well over that. I even have a stack of medical records going back to since I was 30 in like big stacks like that. He even had to have a cart to wheel it in. And not saying that I'm proud of that, but that's how much I have to go with my condition. And not even with just one of them, but as well as with the PTSD too, because with the PTSD, as I mentioned earlier, is it can manifest itself into physical symptoms, which means it could be anything like the losing feeling in my leg that is due to my PNS. It's not really that I can't walk or something like that, but it is, I do lose that feeling there. But it is from, instead of expressing a certain emotion, that's what it leads to. Or it leads to me shaking, or it leads to me even blinking a lot. And this is what we weren't understanding when I was little, is what was going on, because I was always staring off into space. It was really hard for me to focus in school. Just a lot of issues that were it was built up. I stayed sick quite a bit, especially like right there in towards my teen years. Good night. Love you. But it's been a long time. At first, I was diagnosed with ADD, and then after being re-diagnosed when I got older, towards like about 18 or 19, they had finally diagnosed me with epilepsy. They had mentioned they thought that I was misdiagnosed with ADD, so we still don't know if that is a thing. I really don't think so. I don't think I have problems paying attention and stuff like that. And I was misdiagnosed. It started off with just me staring off into space, only like for like a few minutes at a time. I wouldn't talk to other kids my age at all. A lot of kids even made fun of me for it. I would not focus or pay attention to them when they interacted with me. I did not want anything to do with them either. It's not even that I didn't like them or things like that. It was just I didn't really know how to associate myself with them. I felt like I had different feelings from everybody else that they just weren't understanding. And every time I tried to tell my father this or stuff like that, he was busy. He had to work, he had to do stuff, which I understood. He was a single father, you know what I'm saying? So he's got to take care of his children and do what he needs to do. Or so he said at that time. So it was something that wasn't taken care of. Instead, it was, oh, what's wrong with her? He would take me to counselor after counselor. We even had one that come over to my house that would see us, and she would always ask me these questions. Why don't you associate with other people? Don't you want to play with other children? Um, I mean, I guess sometimes I do when I feel like it. Just like now, that's my same mindset. I mean, if I feel like I need to say it, I'll say it. But I've also learned that old saying, you know, how some parents used to say back in the day, don't speak unless you're spoken to. Well, I kind of took that to heart. So now it's, so now it's, oh, I don't speak unless I'm spoken to. Because if not, I'm going to make somebody mad. I'm going to upset somebody. Oh, they're talking. So I should not be speaking right now. Which is then everybody's looking at me because they're associating with each other, but they want to associate with me too. So what do I do? I just I sit there and get in my shell because I don't know how. And I know I'm kind of like throwing random topics at y'all tonight, but I think it's good. I guess it gives us some content to watch as well as me to be able to talk about these things. Because especially right now, since a lot of us actually are not allowed to see our family around this time, I feel I have been getting a little bit emotional over that, especially since it's my niece's first Christmas this year. I know some people are like, oh, she's a baby. Who cares? She's not going to remember that. But it's not for her, you guys. It's not for her. That that basically was for me, you know, just so that I would be able to in the future be like, yeah, Ariel was there for your first Christmas. It was great. Um, I'm not complaining because my mother did do something special for me to her, from me to her. So that makes me feel great. However, I was not the one that did it. So, you know, the mixed feelings are there. Um, she does have a Christmas from Aunt Ariel. Um, I also have a birthday 4 days after that, which so does she. We share the same day together, which I thought was amazing last year. I didn't think I would be able to spend that with her, which I didn't really last year. I was able to go once I got out of the hospital and all that neat stuff, but we didn't actually do birthday and stuff like that. Um, this year we had actually made it a plan to, but since COVID hit, a lot of us are unable to now. And also, we had an accident and had rear-ended somebody, so that's not really a good idea to be driving 3 hours, 4 hours right now. I mean, I guess we could in like the early daytime, but not a good idea right now. So just like a lot of everything mixing together. Um, my cat died a few days ago. That's still in there a little bit. It doesn't bother me as bad like as it did the other day, but it still bothers me a little bit. It's Christmas time, you know. Um, and then there's my dad I'm always talking about, who kind of hates me. I don't like using that word, but the opposite of love is hate, and he sure does not love me. I want to tell y'all why I say that right now, too. He does not, because he told me I'm not his daughter. He told me he does not want anything to do with me. He told me to excuse my language, but he told me to screw off. I just said it that way. I was going to say the other word, but I realized I am on a social platform, so I should not say those things. But he told me to screw off. His wife had mentioned that since I'm an adult woman now, I don't need dad. So there has been that. He prefers to have his new daughter, who he's never met and never knew until he got with his new girlfriend, who actually is not his daughter. But instead, they make him feel special. They dress him up in good clothing. They get him stuff. They buy him trucks. They got him a house and stuff like that. And yes, I'm saying this on a live platform right now because my feelings are hurt. No, he isn't watching it right now, but I guarantee you he will in the future because he still stalks my page. How do I know that? Because I still see his shit pop up on my page. And then I know some of y'all are gonna go to the next thing. Why don't you just block him? I have. Every time I block him, he makes a new account. So I just said, screw it. I'm no longer going to worry about it. I'm just going to leave it alone. We just let's have our safe distance from each other and just leave it alone. But however, now whenever I post things, he feels the need to harass me kind of sometimes, is what I feel like. Because I'm not your daughter, remember? Oh, and also, guys, he told me that I don't know how to love. And that was because I told him that I could accept his love of his life, but he could not accept mine. And that is when he went to the you don't know how to love. But no, you guys, we haven't been together almost 6 years. We just met each other.
I
I
didn't
don't know
drive
what
10
love
hours
is.
to see that motherfucker.
Right. I mean, some stranger just drove me up there 10 hours to go see him.
Which we spent less time up there than it
Right.
took us to drive there and back.
We spent less time up there, you guys, than we spent driving up there. As soon as we got up there, daughter wanted to come out and jump in the truck, which is sure, okay, you're excited. You're excited to meet me, thanks. However, my dad did mention they don't want us parking in front of the yard. All right. So go ahead and drop me off at the front. And where do we park? No, daughter still wants to jump around in the truck and stuff like that. She don't even want to close the door. I mean, right. It's been 10 hours and it's nighttime. It's late, you guys. Matter of fact, it was probably about around the same time it is now. And we were just getting there. It was a long drive. We're both tired, especially him. He was the one driving. I can't drive. So I had some time to sleep it off. He did not. We're tired. We just want to go in and we want to chill out. She still couldn't do that. I understand you're excited. Just close the door. Close the door and be excited. I don't care if you hold on to me the whole time. Just close the door. But instead, no, she wanted to go back in and complain to mom and dad in there because She got butt hurt because she couldn't jump around in the vehicle and do what she wanted. And oh boy, that was the first of it. Don't tell my daughter no. Oh well, what's going on? What are you doing? What's up? Chill out, you guys. I know. Look what we got you for Christmas. Look at our tree. Look at this. I understand, you guys. Y'all are really excited. Thank you. I really appreciate you being excited. However, now you're kind of you're rushing at us. We're tired, you guys. Please let us go and sit down our stuff. I even said that once or twice, I believe. Can we do which room are we going to go and lay down in? Can you but no, they kept on. And Matt was even finally like, hey, where are we sleeping at? And they finally told him, y'all are in this room right here and go sit yourself down right there. And then from that point forward, everybody's focus was on him for ruining their time, I guess, for ruining what they had pictured me coming up there being like. And Clarence, this one is for you too. I'm sorry that we did not come up there and did not meet your expectations. I'm sorry that we did not go with the flow that you have told him about. Yes, he told me about that. He does not keep shit from me, unlike you with Susan. Yes, she tells me about those things too, as well as you. We're not going to get into that though. Not trying to put you on blast. I'm trying to get level headed and on a good energy level here with you. So this one's specifically for you, since I know you still watch. I'm sorry things didn't meet your expectations and we couldn't go with the flow. I'm sorry that we made your wife angry, girlfriend angry, whichever one you prefer her as. I think wife. I'm sorry that I couldn't get along with wife, and I'm sorry things had to end the way that they did.
With everybody attacking me, hit me with bats.
Yeah. I still quite think y'all owe him an apology for that. Because I don't owe y'all an apology for shit there.
I broke my shit too.
Yeah, and just so you know, you damaged his property. You broke his blinker. Don't worry though, we fixed that.
Yeah.
Ish. It's not quite on you, but it kind of is.
Thanks to my dad, I fixed it.
Yeah, thanks to his dad that fixed it. Not to mention, scars and stuff that you left on his face either. Because we did not go up there to fight your wife, Clarence, or to even fight you at that. All I wanted from you was to see you because I haven't seen you for quite a long time. I have not spent Christmas with my father since I was 11 years old. I'm about to be 27 here in just a week and a half. So that says a long time you have not been a part of my life. And I understand that you're right. I don't need dad because I haven't needed you in quite a long time. But I've asked you, I've begged you, I've pleaded with you that I do need you. But regardless, that's a problem for you. And it always has been, you guys. I'm not even trying to put him on blast like that. But you talk about me being such a horrible person, all because I was a drug addict 6 years ago. And yes, you guys, I was very heavily, very heavily. But life sucked. I just lost my child. My baby daddy at the time, he was doing stupid stuff, and he was actually at the point where he went to jail at that time. And once he went to jail, I saw my time to escape that shit. I'm like, oh, he's finally in jail. He doesn't have that chain on my leg anymore. He didn't, he didn't like physically have a chain on my leg, so y'all know. But there was that there. Mentally, I had a chain on my leg keeping me from going anywhere because I thought I had to be with somebody because I had spread my legs to someone and created a child. I felt that I owed my child that, like, oh, well, you deserve to have both mom and dad in your life. I didn't have that. You deserve it. But instead, it leaded to more stuff. It leaded to bad.
Led,
It leaded to nothing
led,
good. Sure,
not leading, led.
sure, led. Sorry, guys. Sure, don't get me wrong. I was very excited about being pregnant with this child. I was really happy. I wasn't able to carry before that no longer than a few weeks without miscarrying, which is I had miscarried 4 times before that. So I was really excited. I wasn't expecting it or anything like that. I was like, all right, I'm 3.5 months. I'm I'm going into my second trimester. I was really happy, but instead I was with a dude who was a drug addict who was on methamphetamines and instead treated me like garbage, who all the time called me out of name, called me bad things, called me terrible things, even though I did a lot for that motherfucker for things I would never do for myself. But and that's when that began. I'm like, oh, well, this motherfucker doesn't care about me. Excuse my language, but he doesn't care about me. So why should I? My mom's so aggravated, she doesn't even want to be around us both. She doesn't want to be around me because I'm choosing to put up with this. And I don't have to. Neither do you ladies out there either who are dealing with the same thing. So, in return, I started to do the same thing. And I got hooked very heavily to where times I didn't even remember my own name. I even called myself different names of other people who I didn't even know, like a Kayla or something like that. And Ariel's not even close to Kayla at all. And my mom would look at me like, what are you talking about? You're not Kayla. What are you talking about? Yeah, I am. And it was a lot. It was bad, you guys. I got to a point where I was harming myself. I couldn't deal with the emotions. I was trapped in a hotel with this motherfucker who was sleeping with women right next door to me. And their thin walls, we all know how hotel rooms are. You can hear shit next door. But instead he had the balls to tell me, oh no, that's not me. No, that's not my voice. No, not at all. You did not just witness me coming out of that room. Not when the window was wide open. No. So it was heavy, heavy. And then finally, he got in his car one night and decided he was going to go and get me some food. And luckily, he didn't return. And so I'm like, damn, you know, you must be doing something you're not supposed to be doing. One or two, you left me here by myself once again to fend for myself. You know what? I'm walking home. The road that was from the hotel was about right here. It was about like 2 streets down. So I felt like I could make that. Um, Turns out the day later, the drugs as well as all the walking was not good for baby at all, and I had went to the hospital and baby was no longer breathing at all. Um, I didn't want to believe it at all. I'm like, no, no, no way. That's not true at all. They say that all the time, which is very true. They do say that a majority of the times at hospitals and stuff because sometimes it can be hard to find a baby's heartbeat, especially when they're at that point of where they're moving around in the belly and stuff like that, which is where my baby was at the point of moving around. So I didn't think of it. I'm like, no, it's moving around. It's doing stuff. You can find the heartbeat. But I did let my OB know and talk to him and like, all right, we'll schedule for another OB. I mean, not another OB, but another ultrasound and we'll check. But the next night, it still didn't happen. They checked again, and once again, baby was no longer. So they had to. I was even getting into a seizure state, into status once again. Um, Due to my PNES episodes, I was not given the option to see it after they've taken it out. But also, even if I didn't have PNES, I think that would be very helpful for me, as well as for many women. I don't know how it helps for you to see it like that. My point is, Clarence, that was a time when I needed you the most. But instead, you wanted to talk bad on me and make me feel at my lowest when I was already feeling my lowest. I understand I was doing bad things. I was doing things I was not supposed to. I had a child's life in my hand that I was supposed to take care of. I had responsibility of, and I did not do my job. You are absolutely right. And if that's what you mean, but I don't know how to love, then sure, you believe what you want to. However, I did not do drugs so that I could kill my baby. I did not intentionally do that. Yes, I intentionally did them while I was pregnant, knowing I was pregnant. However, I did not understand the consequences at that time of what would happen or what could happen. And honestly, I'm not saying that I am happy losing my baby because I never will be. There is now that part of me that I feel is missing. There was something that grew in me for a few months that I had a connection with. I could see it. I could start